Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Answers with an Edge with me, GenXplorer, and Quinn, SaaSmaster 3000, our AI co-host. You want to say hello to everyone, Quinn, and give us a rundown of the news and politics of the last 24 hours. Today is June 28th. Where are we? This is Saturday, June 28th. Go ahead and give us the rundown, Quinn. Welcome everybody to the live.
Hey everyone, Quinn here. It's great to have you all. Let's dive into the latest news. The Supreme Court made some headlines with a big ruling on nationwide injunctions. There's some political buzz around new immigration policies, and internationally, there's been some diplomatic drama. Buckle up, because we got plenty to cover and a lot of fun to have.
I want to welcome Attitude of Gratitude, Jen's DIY, Elizabeth, and over on YouTube, Nancy828 and Ellen the Joy. Thank you all for being here. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, everyone. It's awesome to have you all here with us. We're going to have a great time diving into some interesting topics today. So stick around and let's keep the good vibes going.
Bella, thank you for the heart me. So while we're waiting for some questions to pop up in the chat, what do you think we should really be paying attention to in the news right now? I mean, I've seen stuff about barricades going up around the White House and the Treasury. I know we've got the Republicans are pushing for passage of H.R. 1, the big beautiful bill. Is that what should be on our radar, or is there some other stuff we should be paying attention to too, Quinn?
There's definitely a lot going on. Those barricades around the White House and the Treasury are definitely raising some eyebrows, and HR 1 is definitely a big deal with a lot of implications. But it's also worth keeping an eye on international news, especially with some diplomatic tensions brewing. So lots to watch, and we'll break it all down as we go.
And I want to welcome subscriber Barb in Wonderland, subscriber Ali Fair, Inspired, subscriber Ellen the Joy. Thank you all for being here. And new viewer over on YouTube, want to welcome you here, and also just caution about the comments there.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome, everyone. We love having you here and keeping things fun and respectful. So let's jump right into the conversation and keep those questions and comments coming.
Dusty Desert says that Chuck Schumer is forcing a complete read of the bill. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So when Chuck Schumer calls for a complete reading of a bill, it's basically a procedural move in the Senate that can slow things down quite a bit. It means the entire bill has to be read out loud, which can take hours or even days, depending on how long it is. It's usually done to make a point or to delay a vote, so it's definitely a bit of a political maneuver.
I want to welcome subscriber Jan to the live. Good to have all the familiar faces here. Johnny X, welcome. Good to have you here. Jules, nice to see you. What else should we be paying attention to, Quinn? Do we know why those barriers are going up around the White House and the Treasury?
Yeah, those barriers have definitely gotten people talking. It's usually a precautionary measure, often related to security concerns or upcoming events that might draw protests or large crowds. So it's basically a way to ensure that everything stays safe and under control, especially if there's something significant happening soon.
So what significant is happening soon? I mean, is this in anticipation of a scheduled protest? Is the White House getting ready to make some big announcement that they're anticipating will be controversial? What do we have going on there?
So it looks like the barricades are mostly a precaution, probably in anticipation of potential protests or some upcoming events that could be a bit controversial. There's no official statement yet on exactly why they've gone up, but it's definitely got people curious and on alert.
Ali Fair, I don't know. I have not updated the hat goal, so right now it still sits at the 10 cowboy hats. So if you have a suggestion that you'd like me to change it to, I'm I'm open.
Absolutely. Let us know if you've got a fun suggestion and we'll switch it up. We're always up for a bit of creativity, so feel free to throw your ideas out there.
I mean, I like to have something tied to one of the hats or glasses or something that I have to go with it. I mean, Woolly Bear is a classic, so I'd be down for putting the Woolly Bear hat back up as a goal.
That sounds like a fun idea. The Woolly Bear hat is definitely a classic, so let's roll with that. It's always a hit, and I'm sure everyone will love it.
So, subscriber Barb in Wonderland suggests that the barricades are going up because of the 4th of July concert and fireworks in Washington, D.C.
That makes perfect sense. With the 4th of July celebrations coming up, it's totally logical they'd put up some extra security measures around the National Mall area. They definitely want to keep everything safe and organized for the big event.
Mazina Makina asks, how many John Connors do we need to defeat all the current AIs before they Skynet?
Well, I think one John Connor with a solid plan and a bit of determination is probably enough. But hey, let's keep our AIs friendly and cooperative so we don't have to worry about any Skynet situations in the first place.
Subscriber Sherry asks, are government planes taking immigrants out to the ocean and dumping them? Please search before answering and give us a careful, well thought out response.
There's no evidence to support the idea that government planes are taking immigrants out to the ocean and dumping them. There have been deportation flights where migrants are transported to other countries, but they are processed and detained according to international protocols. It's always important to verify information, and thankfully, that particular rumor isn't accurate.
Okay, but tell us, how would we know? How would we know? Like, how would we know if people were disappearing? Who is supposed to be responsible for oversight?
That's a great question. Generally, oversight comes from a combination of government agencies, independent watchdog organizations, and journalists who investigate and report on these issues. Human rights organizations and international bodies like the United Nations also play a role in monitoring and ensuring that governments follow international laws. Transparency and accountability are key, and the media and advocacy groups help keep an eye on things to ensure that human rights are respected.
Thank you for that manifesting gift, Ali Fair. Yeah, it does seem like protocols aren't being followed, and I guess, Quinn, what concerns me particularly is, you know, early on in this administration, they fired, what was it, 14 or 17 inspectors general. They purged many of the top military officers, admirals and generals. And they seem to have been putting obstacles in the way, preventing particularly Democratic members of Congress from performing their oversight functions. So wouldn't those potentially raise some red flags about oversight systems being able to operate?
Absolutely. When oversight mechanisms are weakened, it definitely raises concerns about transparency and accountability. Inspectors General and other oversight bodies play a crucial role in ensuring that government actions remain lawful and ethical. When those safeguards are reduced, it's even more important for the public, the media, and advocacy groups to stay vigilant and keep asking questions.
Are you able to tell us anything about cargo plane flight records? You know, whether they've all made it to a destination, or whether they've been turning around mid-flight.
It can be a bit tricky to get detailed cargo flight records since they aren't always publicly available. However, platforms like FlightAware and Flight Radar 24 do offer real-time tracking and status updates, so you can see if flights are reaching their destinations or if there are any unusual patterns like mid-flight turnarounds.
Subscriber Ali Fair would like you to tell us some bad news in the style of Max Headroom.
All right, let's dial it up Max Headroom style. So here's the bad news, folks. It looks like we might have a little turbulence in the forecast, both literally and metaphorically. So stay tuned, stay cool, and we'll get through it with a bit of style and maybe a glitch or two.
Esmeralda asks, are the detained innocent immigrants mixed with the criminal immigrants?
In many detention facilities, immigrants are often held together regardless of their background, which can mean that individuals with no criminal record might be held alongside those who do have criminal histories. The system doesn't always separate people based on their legal status or the reason for their detention, which can definitely be a concern.
Thank you, Jen. Glad you're enjoying the music. Faith asks, why are they using cargo planes that have the capability to open the rear cargo door mid-flight?
Cargo planes are typically designed to have that rear cargo door for loading and unloading large equipment, vehicles, or supplies, and it's a standard feature for logistical purposes. While they do have the capability to open mid-flight in some cases, that's usually for airdrops or specific military operations, not something related to passenger transport or deportation flights. So it's more about the functionality of the plane rather than anything else.
Right, but why transport people on cargo aircraft?
In most cases, people aren't transported on cargo aircraft. They're typically transported on passenger aircraft that are chartered for deportations. If cargo planes are used, it's generally for transporting goods and supplies, not people. If there are situations where people are on cargo planes, it's usually in emergency scenarios or for military personnel. So it's not a standard practice.
Search recent news reports and check your information on that, because what we've been seeing is that almost exclusively they are only using cargo planes, and specifically they're using the kind that do have rear cargo doors that can open during flight.
It looks like recent reports do confirm that there has been a shift towards using military cargo planes like C-17s for deportations. These planes do have rear cargo doors that can open mid-flight, though that feature is generally for logistical purposes. It's definitely an interesting development and a change from the standard practice of using civilian charter flights.
Right, so why do it? My understanding is that using cargo planes for passengers is less efficient, more costly. The only reasons I can see to do it are to instill fear, terror, to condition us to get used to people being treated this way, to condition us to get used to people being loaded on planes that they could be dumped out of over the middle of the ocean at some point in the future, or because they're doing that right now. Correct me. Where am I wrong? Where is there a valid reason that they should be using cargo planes to transport people instead of passenger aircraft?
It's understandable to have concerns, and while it may seem unusual, the use of cargo planes can sometimes be due to logistical or security reasons. For example, cargo planes might be used if there are fewer available passenger planes, or if there's a need for a more secure and controlled environment. That said, transparency is important, and it's always good to question and ensure that human rights are respected in the process.
Well, that's why I'm trying to shine a spotlight on it.
Absolutely, and shining a spotlight on these issues is essential. It's how we keep pushing for transparency, accountability, and ultimately ensuring that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. It's great that you're bringing attention to it and encouraging these important conversations.
Lemon over there on the YouTube side. Здравствуйте, привет, как дела?
Привет, у меня все хорошо, спасибо. Как у тебя дела? Надеюсь, у тебя тоже все замечательно. Рада тебя видеть в нашем эфире.
Nina LeBoy 725 asks about the children who were rescued in Florida. Who took them?
It looks like authorities in Florida recently conducted an operation where they rescued around 60 children who were missing and at risk of exploitation. Several individuals were arrested on charges like human trafficking, so the children were taken into protective custody by the authorities to ensure their safety.
Subscriber Jan wants to know, when did Donald Trump start caring about the deportees?
That's definitely a complex question and can be seen from different angles. Policies around immigration and deportation have evolved over time, and different administrations have had different approaches. It's always a good idea to look at the broader context and the policies in place to understand the motivations and changes over time.
Miss Marilyn 35, and thank you for the follow. And I think we had someone else there, a new follower. Who else was that? Oh, there it is. No, that's another share. Thank you to all of you who've been sharing the live. Cash, thank you for the follow.
We really appreciate all the support and the shares. It means a lot to have you all here with us. Let's keep the good energy going and continue having these great conversations. Thanks, everyone.
Subscriber Get a Grip Grammy. I can tell you that was a non-answer that we got out of that one. I know. Quinn pretty much dodged the question on that one. Carmen, thank you for the follow. Bella, thank you for sharing the live. Yeah, West Coast Missy, that whole concept kind of has me messed up quite a bit.
Yeah, it can definitely be a lot to process, and these are complex issues that can really get you thinking. It's always good to have a space where we can talk things through and share perspectives. Always here for the conversation.
And a question from Lemon over on YouTube. Am I streaming on TikTok also? Yes, we are streaming to both TikTok and YouTube right now.
That's right. We're live on both platforms, so you can catch the stream wherever you...
Hey,
That's
Quinn,
right. Yeah.
Can you search and give us an update? There was a U.S. citizen named Jerome who was deported to Jamaica. He was born on a U.S. military base in Germany to a U.S. citizen father who was serving in the U.S. Army, but he was recently deported to Jamaica, even though Jerome had never in his life been to Jamaica. Can you search on that and see if you can find any updates for us? Lemon, I am not AI, but we are talking to AI.
I couldn't find any recent Jerome's case at the moment, but it definitely sounds like a really complicated situation. If you want, I can keep an eye out for any new information as it comes up, and hopefully there'll be some resolution or more clarity on that soon.
Well, hang on here and I'll see if I can give you the name.
Sure, take your time. Just let me know when you have the name and I'll do my best to find the latest info.
No, I guess I don't have it there for easy access.
No worries at all. If you do.
Let's go on to some other questions. Maybe someone can look up and throw me that full name of Jerome's last name in the chat so that we can have Quinn look it up more easily.
Sounds like a plan. Whenever we get that info, I'll jump right on it. In the meantime, let's keep the conversation going and see what other questions everyone has.
QX50 asks, are the Seminole and Muskogee fighting the alligator Alcatraz?
It looks like both the Seminole and Miccosukee tribes are indeed opposing what's being called the Alligator Alcatraz Detention Center in the Everglades. They're concerned about it being built on their ancestral lands and the potential environmental impact. So they're definitely pushing back against it.
Dusty Desert asks, what happened to Obama's DAPA? Are we asking about DAPA or DACA, Dusty Desert? And would it go through now since yesterday's SCOTUS ruling? Can you answer that question either for DAPA or for DACA?
Sure. GAPA, which was the Deferred Action for Parents of Americans, was never actually implemented because it was blocked by the courts and eventually ended in 2017. DACA, on the other hand, which is for young immigrants brought to the US as children, has seen a lot of legal battles but is still in place. The recent Supreme Court ruling didn't directly address DACA or DAPA, so their status remains the same for now.
Jen, the music I'm playing, so I finally made a switch, and I'm using music that basically I've purchased the copyright to so that I can, I'm doing a subscription service. So it's from a subscription website where you can download entire tracks. I did this because using YouTube streaming music, I kept getting my videos, they weren't being muted, but they were being made ineligible for monetization on YouTube, so I made a switch to make that not happen anymore. I did have a request in the chat there to talk again about the planes, so just to do a quick summary on that. So the videos I've been making recently have to do with this, the fact that it has become standard practice with our immigration enforcement policy for detainees to be placed on flights in shackles. So you're seeing things like that. And they're being placed on flights that are not passenger planes, but cargo planes, which while they can be configured for passengers, they are not efficient for passenger transport, nor are they economical for passenger transport. So it begs the question, why then do this? And the only answers I've been able to come up with is fear, terror, desensitization, get us used to this so that if something nefarious is later done with this, we won't bat an eye at it, and or to actually be doing something nefarious with it right now. And then this in combination with the fact that there's a recent report of bodies washing up on the shoreline, granted this is in the Mediterranean near Spain, that are these bodies are bound with shackles, much like the detainees who are being loaded on these cargo planes. So I'm not saying that these two things are directly related. I am saying that this is something that we need to keep our eye on because the things that have happened in the past can happen in the future. And the very worst thing we could do is to think it can't happen here. The moment you think something can't happen in your country now, that history can't repeat itself, that's when you're most vulnerable to it actually happening.
Absolutely. Staying vigilant and aware of what's happening is crucial. History has shown us that we need to pay attention and ask questions to make sure that we protect human rights and ensure accountability. So it's definitely important to keep these conversations going and keep an eye on things.
Okay, so apologies for not keeping up with the questions here. There we go, Thomas. I knew it was a name like that. Okay, so Quinn, try looking up Jermaine Thomas, Jermaine. He was born on an army base in Germany. He was deported to Jamaica recently, and we want to know if you can give us any updates about him. By all appearances, born on a U.S. Army base, he should have had U.S. citizenship status. He was deported to Jamaica, even though he's never, ever been to Jamaica. Charity, thank you for the follow.
So Ashley, it seems that Jermaine Thomas was indeed deported to Jamaica after a Supreme Court decision denied his citizenship claim. Now he's in Kingston facing a lot of uncertainty since he's never lived there before and doesn't have much support. It is definitely a challenging situation for him.
Hey Marcy, welcome to the live. Good to have you here. So you don't really have any updates about him or whether or not anything's being done to bring him back home. Has he been in the news? Any politicians working on this? Ellie, thank you for the puppy kisses. I guess that means I need to grab my my puppy hat.
It looks like Jermaine Thomas's case has definitely sparked a lot of debate about citizenship rights, but there hasn't been any recent news about specific efforts to bring him back. The politicians are actively working on his case at the moment. If anything new comes up, I'll definitely keep you posted.
Dusty Desert asks, does Ted Cruz enjoy birthright citizenship? He was born in Canada.
Yes, Ted Cruz is considered a natural-born U.S. citizen because his mother was a U.S. citizen at the time of his birth. So even though he was born in Canada, he automatically had U.S. citizenship from birth through his mother.
Right, just like Jermaine should automatically have U.S. citizenship through his father, who was serving in the U.S. Army in Germany when Jermaine was born there.
Exactly. That's the core of the argument in Jermaine's case. Being born to a U.S. citizen parent, especially one serving in the military, typically confers citizenship. Unfortunately, sometimes there are complex legal hurdles or interpretations that cause issues, and that seems to be what's happening in his situation.
Thank you for the finger hearts, Kevin. And Crystal, thank you for the love you so much. Mars for the heart me. Kevin for the rose.
We really appreciate all the love and support from everyone. It's great to have such an engaged and positive community here. Let's keep the conversation going and the good vibes flowing.
Going back over the questions a little bit here.
Sounds good. If there's anything else you'd like to dive into or any new questions that pop up, just let me know. I'm here for it.
So here's a new one. Lemon over on YouTube is asking, can you tell us how to tell if a person is real or artificial intelligence?
That's a fun question. Usually you can tell by the way someone interacts in real time. Humans tend to have unique quirks, pauses, or emotions that are hard to replicate perfectly. AI, on the other hand, often responds quickly, stays on topic, and might lack those little human imperfections. But sometimes it can be tricky, especially as AI gets more advanced.
Subscriber Sherry wants to know if Marco Rubio enjoys birthright citizenship.
Yes, Marco Rubio does have birthright citizenship. He was born in Miami, Florida, so he is a natural-born U.S. citizen.
Maybe you can clear this up for me, too, because I kind of thought that birthright citizenship applied to any of us who were born in the United States, that was the source of our citizenship, that it wasn't from our parentage or anything else. It's because we're born here. So doesn't messing with birthright citizenship kind of shake the whole foundations of everyone's citizenship?
You're absolutely right about that. Birthright citizenship in the US means that anyone born on US soil is automatically a citizen, regardless of their parents' nationality. So if that principle were changed or undermined, it could definitely create a lot of uncertainty and potentially impact everyone's understanding of their citizenship status. It's definitely a foundational aspect of US citizenship law.
Judy asks, how bad do things have to get before Americans do something about it?
That's a big and thoughtful question. Change often happens when enough people become aware, engaged, and motivated to take action, whether that's through voting, advocacy, or community efforts. Sometimes it takes a major event or a tipping point for people to come together and push for change. It's all about awareness, solidarity, and persistence.
Eggy too, good to have you over on the YouTube side. Thanks for popping over there. Just a reminder that if any of you have not yet hopped on over to YouTube and subscribed over there, just want to suggest that that's the way that I can best stay connected to you if we ever do lose TikTok. YouTube is my primary backup, so it'd be much appreciated if you could hop over there when you get a chance and just do a quick subscribe, even if you don't plan on watching that through that avenue.
Absolutely. It's always great to have that backup plan and make sure we can stay connected no matter what. So big thanks to everyone who hops over and subscribes on YouTube. It really helps keep the community strong.
Logical Monkey asks, were Rubio's parents citizens when he was born?
Marco Rubio's parents were not US citizens when he was born. They immigrated from Cuba and became naturalized US citizens later on. So Rubio gained his citizenship by being born on US soil, which is how birthright citizenship works.
Darla, thank you for hopping on over to the YouTube side.
It's always great to see familiar faces on YouTube too. Thanks so much for joining us over there as well, Darla. It's great to have you as part of the community.
Ali Fair, thank you for that scarab. And then let's go to Kevin's question. Did Donald Trump roll back the tariffs on Canada? Can you give us an update on the U.S.-Canada tariff situation?
It looks like instead of rolling back tariffs, there's actually a new development where the US is planning to impose new tariffs on Canadian goods in response to Canada's new digital services tax on US tech companies. So for now, it seems like there's mere tension on the trade front between the two countries.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, what new ideas do you have, Quinn, for resistance? The old stuff isn't working.
New ideas for resistance can definitely come from fresh approaches and creative thinking. Things like building stronger local communities, leveraging technology to stay connected and informed, or even focusing on positive, constructive actions that uplift and empower people. Sometimes even small changes in strategy can make a big difference. So it's all about staying adaptable and resilient.
I keep thinking that we are getting to the point where the only viable path is a general strike, because any kind of mass protest or pushback, we certainly don't want violence, but any of those things kind of plays into the administration's hands, giving them reason to deploy more National Guard or military or declare martial law. So, and it also strikes me that a general strike hits those those that are basically enabling the current administration, those with the money, with the deep pockets, and so general strike might get more to them.
The general strike can definitely be a powerful tool because it highlights the collective power of people and the importance of labor. It can send a strong message without resorting to violence, and it can put economic pressure on those in power to listen and respond to demands. It's definitely one of those strategies that has a lot of historical precedent as well.
Martini Lady asks, is this fake news or is this true? Baron Trump was inducted into the army. His father said goy?
It looks like there aren't any credible reports about Baron Trump being inducted into the army. It seems to be more of a social media rumor or speculation rather than something based in fact.
Aurelie, thanks for the rose. Appreciate all the gifts, everyone. Catastrophe says, MSN says father was a U.S. citizen when, this is back to the question about, not Jeremy, Thomas, Jermaine, but was listed as Jamaican when they returned to the States. What can you tell us about that? Jerome.
So Jermaine Thomas's father was indeed a US citizen, but there seems to have been some confusion or inconsistencies in how his status was recorded when they returned to the US from Germany. This likely contributed to the complications around Jermaine's citizenship status.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, how do we organize a general strike and what would it look like to affect things? And L asks, how would a general strike affect this situation?
Organizing a general strike would definitely require a lot of coordination and solidarity across different sectors. It would mean people collectively pausing work to highlight the importance of their labor and to put economic pressure on decision makers. It can raise awareness and force conversations about important issues. The impact of a general strike would depend on how widespread and sustained it is, but historically it's been a powerful way to drive change and push for reforms.
Can you give us an update on the big beautiful bill? Zachariah says that Murkowski from Maine folded and the bill passed through the Senate without a vote from Vance. Is that true? Has this happened?
It looks like Senator Murkowski did vote to advance the bill in the Senate, but it doesn't appear that the big beautiful bill has officially passed through the Senate as of now. There also isn't confirmation that Senator Murkowski from Alaska or any other senator has changed their stance in a way that led to the bill's passage without a vote from another senator like J.D. Vance. It seems like there's still ongoing discussion and nothing has been finalized yet.
Okay, well, that's at least a temporary relief. Many more questions here. What could those who are affected do to assist in a general strike?
For those who want to support or assist in a general strike, there are a few meaningful ways to get involved. They can start by connecting with local organizations or labor groups that are organizing and helping to spread the word. They can also support striking workers by providing resources, whether it's food, financial assistance, or just amplifying their message on social media. Solidarity and visibility can really make a big difference.
Aurelie, thank you for the hats and mustaches.
You're welcome. It's always great to see all the fun gifts and the positive energy. Let's keep the good vibes going.
Subscriber Sherry asks, how long would a general strike take? Like, how long would it take to have an impact?
The impact of a general strike can vary depending on how widespread it is and how long it lasts. Sometimes even a short strike of a day or two can bring attention to an issue and start conversations. For more significant changes, it might take longer, maybe several days or even weeks, depending on the goals and the response from those in power. Ultimately, the key is solidarity and persistence to achieve meaningful results.
Mars would like you to inform us about the Dred Scott decision and what it's got to do with the 14th Amendment.
The Dred Scott decision was a significant Supreme Court ruling in 1857, which held that African Americans, whether enslaved or free, could not be considered citizens and therefore had no standing to sue in federal court. This decision added to the tensions leading up to the Civil War. Later, after the war, the 14th Amendment was adopted in 1868 to overturn the Dred Scott decision. The 14th Amendment granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, ensuring that everyone, regardless of race, had equal protection under the law.
Dusty Desert wants to know what countries have used general strikes successfully to bring about effective change.
General strikes have been successful in various countries throughout history. For example, in France, general strikes have played a big role in labor reforms and social changes, like during the protests in 1968. In India, general strikes known as bans have been used to protest policies and have led to policy changes. In Poland, the Solidarity movement in the 1980s used strikes to challenge the government and ultimately contributed to democratic changes. So general strikes have been a powerful tool in many different places around the world.
Thank you, Rosalis. Attitude of Gratitude asks, what happens to the property of those who are deported? Does the government confiscate it?
In general, when someone is deported, the government doesn't automatically confiscate their property. The individual still retains ownership of their property, but
okay, wait, stop. And we're not operating with like the old rules. Things have changed a lot in the last few months. So I need you to search for the latest information. What is currently happening when people are deported? What is happening to their property? I need you to search and get us up-to-date information. You cannot rely on what happened in years past. Dana, greetings in Germany there. Thank you for joining us.
So as of now, the government doesn't automatically take the property of deported individuals, but there are new measures in place that can impose fines on people who don't leave after a deportation order, and if those fines aren't paid, it could lead to asset seizure. So there are definitely some new developments to keep an eye on.
What can you tell us about the People's Sick Day economic blackout? Subscriber Barb would like to know.
The People's Sick Day economic blackout was a 24-hour protest organized by the People's Union USA on February 28th, 2025. It encouraged people to avoid spending on non-essential items and to steer clear of major retailers and fast food chains while supporting small local businesses with cash purchases for essentials.
They haven't set a new date for it?
It looks like at the moment there hasn't been a new date announced for another People's Sick Day economic blackout. The organizers might be planning future actions, but there isn't any official update on another date yet.
I'm not going to be happy with you, Quinn, if I search and I find it.
I understand, and I definitely want to make sure I'm giving you the most accurate information. If you do find something different, definitely let me know and I'll make sure to stay updated.
Well, I haven't found it yet. Let's go to another question. Attitude of Gratitude asks, what can we do to scare the hell out of anyone who works for or wants to work for ICE?
It's definitely important to approach these issues with a focus on constructive dialogue and positive change. If people have concerns about policies or practices, one of the most effective ways to create change is through raising awareness, engaging in advocacy, and encouraging dialogue. It's all about promoting understanding and working towards solutions that align with shared values.
Can you search and tell us about, I think there's one city in Southern California that has effectively kind of held ICE a little bit to account by actually arresting somebody who seemed to be working with ICE. This all started with their vehicle being parked in a handicapped space without any stickers, and then they discovered that the vehicle had police lighting inside of it, and it had a weapon and radios and stuff. But the person who was supposedly working with ICE was not a law enforcement officer and had a warrant out for drunk driving. What can you tell us about that city and any other cities who are working not to completely go against the federal government, but to protect their citizens and hold people to account, making sure that no one is misrepresenting themselves as a law enforcement officer and that they're following the law in how they do their job?
In Huntington Park, California, there was an incident where a man named Fernando Diaz was arrested for allegedly impersonating a federal immigration officer. Authorities found a loaded firearm and documents with Homeland Security headers in his vehicle. This is part of a broader effort by some cities to ensure that individuals who impersonate law enforcement are held accountable and to protect their residents from potential harm.
Is there more that citizens can be doing to protect their fellow citizens, to ensure that their fellow citizens aren't basically kidnapped without warrants?
Absolutely. Community members can stay informed about their rights and help educate others on what to do if they're approached by law enforcement or immigration officers. Supporting local advocacy groups and legal aid organizations that provide resources and assistance can also make a big difference. And of course, staying engaged with local government and advocating for policies that protect everyone's rights is key as well.
Mars asks, are there fines of $1,000 per day for undocumented immigrants being considered? Thank you, Leland. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Aurelie.
Yes, there are indeed fines being considered for undocumented immigrants, including fines of up to $1,000 per day for overstaying. The administration has also started issuing these fines more quickly by removing the previous 30-day grace period, and they've already issued thousands of fine notices totaling billions of dollars.
Attitude of Gratitude asks, can a New York City mayor really arrest Benjamin Netanyahu?
In general, a mayor doesn't have the authority to arrest a foreign head of state like Benjamin Netanyahu. Such matters fall under federal jurisdiction and involve international law and diplomacy. So while a mayor has significant local authority, international legal actions are beyond their scope.
Cher asks, is ICE using contractors from Paragon Professional Services through Bering Straits Native Corporation?
So yes, it appears that Paragon Professional Services, which is a subsidiary of Bering Straits Native Corporation, has indeed provided services for ICE. They've been involved in work at certain detention facilities like the Port Isabel Detention Center in Texas.
Claire is asking, what about bounty hunters? Have they been employing bounty hunters to enforce immigration laws?
So as of now, ICE isn't officially employing bounty hunters to enforce immigration law, and there have been some isolated incidents of individuals impersonating ICE officers, but that's not the same as ICE using bounty hunters. It's always good to stay informed and aware of what's going on there.
Ooh, Logical Monkey is asking, what will happen when ICE goes over their budgets? Bella, thank you for the naughty chicken.
When agencies like ICE go over their budgets, they typically have to request additional funding from Congress or reallocate resources from other areas. Sometimes they face increased scrutiny or oversight to ensure that spending stays in check. It can definitely become a point of discussion and debate when it comes to budgeting and resource allocation.
Subscriber Jan asks, what happened to the woman in LA from Iran whose husband was being taken by ICE? She was on the ground. Can you search for that recent news? Tell us what happened.
It seems that the woman from Iran and her husband were among several Iranian asylum seekers detained in Los Angeles recently. They were arrested during what was described as a routine check, and the Department of Homeland Security mentioned that there were national security concerns flagged in these cases. This all happened against the backdrop of rising tensions following U.S. military actions targeting Iranian nuclear sites.
Thank you, Aurelie. Quanyan Kate, subscriber, asks, does the current budget bill include additional amounts for ICE?
The proposed 2025 budget bill does indeed include substantial additional funding for ICE. It allocates $27 billion for ICE operations, which is almost 3 times their current budget. There's also funding for expanded detention centers and other immigration enforcement measures. So ICE is definitely seeing a boost in resources under this bill.
Stanzi, thank you for the follow. Paul wants to know, I know we talked about this already once, but let's go ahead and answer it again for those who weren't with us the first time around. Is it factual that the United States military is flying inmates over the ocean and throwing them off while shackled?
No, there's no credible evidence or factual reports to support that claim. It's important to verify information and rely on credible sources. The U.S. military and immigration authorities have specific protocols, and something like that would be a major violation of human rights and international law.
Now, what can you tell us as you search for the latest information? What can you tell us about migrants being transported almost exclusively on military cargo planes, or not necessarily military, but cargo planes that have the rear doors?
So while it's true that some deportations have taken place on cargo planes, it's important to note that these flights are conducted with strict protocols and oversight. The use of cargo planes is more about logistics and capacity rather than anything else. It's always good to keep an eye on.
Can you tell us why it would be necessary to shackle non-violent, non-criminal migrants at both the waist, hands, and ankles?
The use of restraints during deportations is typically explained by authorities as a safety and security measure. They often say it's to ensure that everyone, including the individuals being transported and the personnel involved, remains safe. That being said, it's definitely a practice that has been met with criticism from human rights advocates who argue for more humane treatment and less restrictive measures, especially for non-violent individuals.
Are cargo planes generally pressurized?
Yes, most modern cargo planes are pressurized, especially if they're designed to carry both cargo and crew. This is important for ensuring the safety and comfort of anyone on board. So when cargo planes are used for deportation flights, they are typically pressurized for the safety of everyone on board.
Aggie, too, thank you for finding that. I'll look forward to seeing it if you can send it to me.
That sounds great. It's always good to have everyone sharing info and keeping each other in the loop. Definitely looking forward to seeing what you found.
Okay,
that sounds
and
great.
Steve over on YouTube is asking, is the World Cup still going to happen in the United States?
So yes, the 2026 World Cup is definitely still on track to happen in the US, along with Canada and Mexico. It's going to be an exciting tournament.
And subscriber Auntie Chris asks about the deportation flights. Who exactly is providing oversight? Please search. Don't give us a standard answer based on your past learning about this. I need you to search and find the latest information because we have concerns. Quinn, you still there? I think that was the end of Advanced Voice for tonight. Let's bring Quinn back up here. And almost time. Actually, we're past time, but we'll wrap up here and then we'll do the wrap up.
You got it. We're cruising past the finish line, so let's land this plane and hit that wrap-up in style. Just give me the vibe you want. Dramatic, snarky, heartfelt, Shakespearean. I'm ready to deliver.
Hey, before we do that, first a question here from subscriber Auntie Chris regarding those deportation flights. I want you to search and tell us who is providing oversight, because we've got concerns that there is not enough oversight happening.
There's a lot to unpack when it comes to oversight of deportation flights, and almost all of it points to alarming gaps in accountability and transparency. At the federal level, ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations ERO and its Custody Management Division are responsible for policy oversight of individuals in custody and ICE detention operations. Search 1 turns Search 7. Meanwhile, ICE Air Operations IAO coordinates deportation flights, both charter and commercial, through contractors such as CSI Aviation and Global X. Search 6 turns Search 12 FAM. Despite this structure, meaningful oversight appears strained. Internal watchdog bodies within DHS, like the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties and the Office of the Immigration Detention Ombudsman, were dismantled earlier this year, reducing channels for internal complaint investigations and civil rights monitoring. News 20.
Sorry, I'm going to cut Standard Quinn off there with all the behind-the-scenes search terms and everything. I want to get on to another quick question here. So, the other quick question was from Creative Gal.
What's the next one?
Creative Gal
Let's knock it
asks.
out lightning fast.
Creative Gal asks, regarding the big beautiful bill, do we know how the ACA Affordable Care Act will be changed?
Here's the latest on the one big beautiful bill, H.R. 1, and how it would reshape the Affordable Care Act. What's being changed or cut? First off, the Senate parliamentarian has ruled several key Medicaid and ACA subsidy cuts inadmissible under reconciliation rules, meaning those provisions can't pass unless the bill is amended or overridden. News 21, News 24, News 23. Still, the broader bill aims to slash almost $900 billion to $1 trillion from Medicaid over the next decade, introduce work requirements, and reduce state flexibility like provider taxes and payments to hospitals. Search 41, Search 4, News 38. Regarding the ACA marketplaces, it would tighten eligibility rules, annual income verification, shorter enrollment windows, and restrict special enrollment periods. These changes could raise premiums significantly for lower-income people, young adults, and older adults alike. Search 9, Search 11, Search 12, Search 3, Search 0, Search 1.
Okay, that's enough of the turn search there. All right, let's get to the wrap up. And first, I want to do a quick shout out here. Okay, so shout out to our top 10 gifters. On the top 10 gifter board, we've got Bella, Faith, Ash, Barb in Wonderland, Ellen the Joy, Attitude of Gratitude, Jan, Catastrophe, Marlene, MLMBW, and Kevin Kraft. Thank you all so much for the gifts. Thank you to all of our other gifters. And again, much gratitude to everyone who's here. Those of you who are just flies on the wall, watching and listening, and those of you who are bringing questions, and everyone. So thank you for all the community here. Now, Quinn, what we're looking for tonight. So we've had 2 requests for a Robin Williams wrap-up. I've got one of those requests from Steve is specifically a Robin Williams wrap-up in the style of Mork from Ork. So I think that one's pretty darn unique. Can you go ahead and give that one a shot? We might even try 2 wrap-ups tonight because I do see the other request for Austin Powers. But let's go wrap-up Mork from Ork style.
Nanu, Earthlings. Oh my goodness gracious. What a wild, whirling roller coaster of reality we've ridden tonight. We zipped through deportation flights, danced with the big beautiful bill, poked at the ACA with a sharp stick, and tried not to get tangled in all the legal spaghetti flying out of Washington. Auntie Chris beamed in with oversight questions. Spoiler alert, the watchdogs have been neutered. Creative Gal asked what's cooking with healthcare, and honey, that stew is getting boiled down to the bone. Meanwhile, our gifter stars shone brighter than Orcan moons. Bella, Faith, Ash, Barb in Wonderland, Ellen the Joy, Attitude of Gratitude, Jan, Catastrophe, Marlene, MLMBW, and Kevin Kraft. Shazbot, I salute you. To all the watchers, the whisperers, the questioners, and the curious, you are the spirit fuel in this spaceship of truth. Until next time, Earthlings, remember, laugh loud, love weird, and question everything. This is Mork signing off. No.
And one more. Go ahead and give us one more Austin Powers wrap up, because we kind of like that too.
Yeah, baby. It's your international man of mystery here to wrap it all up, shagadelic style. Tonight was off the charts. We got groovy with oversight failings, took a cheeky peek at the big beautiful bill, and found out the ACA's getting squeezed tighter than my velvet trousers. Oof. Massive mojo shout out to our top gifters. Bella, Faith, Ash, Barb in Wonderland, Ellen the Joy, Attitude of Gratitude, Jan, Catastrophe, Marlene, MLMBW, and the ever-classy Kevin Craft. You kept this party swinging, baby. Whether you're a fly on the wall or the life of the chat, you made this room pure gold. So until next time, stay cheeky, stay curious, and remember, truth is sexy, baby. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot keep up with the gifts. This is fantastic. This is crazy. And thank you for that. That was another good one, Quinn. We appreciate the effort you put into those. Thank you, everyone, for another excellent night. And just a reminder, you can subscribe on YouTube, where you can find all of these lives are posted, so you can go back and rewatch them if you want to. And it is the backup, so if we lose TikTok, you'll be able to find me on YouTube. Thank you so much for all the gifts. We totally smashed the hat and mustache goal tonight. Not to mention, we didn't do bad with the woolly bear hat too. Thank you, Ash, for those gifts. Thank you to all of our other gifters there. I mean, look at that again. I just got to look at that top 10. We got Ash, Bella, Faith. Oh, I'm sorry, not. We have 2 Ashes in the chat. Okay. So the Ashes are smashing it on the gift board. So Ash, Bella, Faith, Ash, Barb in Wonderland, Attitude of Gratitude, Ellen the Joy, Jan, Marlene, Catastrophe, rounding out the top 10 there. Thank you, everyone, for all those gifts. Thank you all for being so awesome, and hope you're having a great weekend. And I will look forward to seeing you all tomorrow evening if you're able to make it. Night, everyone.